So yesterday we were seeing the description of the tree of transmigration. The wise people say, what do they say? They say that there is a tree. What is the name of the tree? Ashwatha tree. What is the unique feature about this tree? This tree is Urdhva Moolam Adhashana. The moolam, the roots are above, the branches are below. And moreover, what is the nature of this tree? Avyayam. It's an imperishable tree, unlike normal trees. And moreover, it is Ashwatham, means what? A tree undergoing constant change. Ashwatha, that which never stays tomorrow. The point is moment to moment change. And then what about the leaves? They are not the normal leaves, they are the Veda mantras. And something stunning is said later. Yes, the Veda Saveda. The one who knows this tree, he has known everything, he need not know anything else. There is nothing in this world to know for a person who has understood this tree. Such a person is called Vedavid, the knower of Vedas. Vedas means what? The treasure house of knowledge. Vedas means treasure house of knowledge. Means what? Everything is there in the Vedas. So Vedavid means what? Sarvagata, Sarvajna. So then, what is this tree? In this world we don't find such a tree which is upside down. So then, that description follows in the second verse. So what is this tree? So here, Bhagavan describes this tree. Adhascha urdhvam prasrataha dasya shakha. All the branches, it is spread. Adhaha urdhvam. Below and above, the branches are spread. And what is the nourishment for this tree? What is the nourishment for the common tree? Outside. The soil, sunlight, water, etc. But for this tree, it is not nourished by the outer fertilizers. The nourishment comes from gunas. Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. So then there is an indication that we are not talking of some outer tree. It is some inner tree only, because it is the nourishment is coming from not an outer source, it is coming from the gunas. Guna pravruddhaha vishaya pravalaha. What is pravala? Nodular bud or shoot or that sprout, which later on becomes the branch, the full-fledged branch. So that is called as pravala. So what is the pravala? Vishayas, Indriya Vishayas, the sense objects, they form the pravala. And what about the secondary roots? Adhascha Moolani Anusantatani. The secondary roots, Adhascha, it is said. So it has to be supplied Urdhvacha also. Not only below, above also. So just like the branches are spread above and below, the secondary roots are also spread above and below. This has to be understood. Adhascha. Adhascha Moolani Anusantatani. So these secondary roots, So remember, there is a difference between the Urdhva Moolam and Adhashcha Moolani. Both are Moolam only. The one is the primary root. We are now talking about the secondary root. So two types of roots are there. Don't get confused. Because earlier we said Urdhva Moolam, now we said Adha Moolani. Don't get confused. They are talking about two different types of roots. The primary root and the secondary roots. Primary root is only one. Secondary roots can be many. It is spread all over, above and below. And what is the nature of this secondary roots? Karma Anubandhini. It is a byproduct of karma. It is born as a consequence of karma. Which one? The secondary roots. And where is all this happening? Manushya Loke, in the world of human beings. In fact, inside the human beings, we can say. So yesterday we were discussing the whole thing. We are not talking of some outer tree. We are talking of the tree of samsara, the tree of transmigration. This constant experience of change that we are experiencing every moment. Who is the experiencer? Jivatma is the experiencer. Where is the change happening? Jagat is the place where the change is happening. So Jiva and Jagat. The personality layers of the Jivatma is also changing. The outer world of the Jivatma is also changing, and all these changes are experienced by whom? The Jivatma. So what is the samsara vriksha? It is a constant experience of change. What is the problem with change? Whenever change happens constantly, you can never relax. You can never feel secure. Because the problem with this change is always an uncertain change, an unpredictable change. So when we are exposed to a situation which is constantly changing, unpredictably changing, then what happens? You have to be always on the alert. And there are situations where changes will happen whether you are alert or not. So it is a very unpleasant situation. So to bring out this unpleasantness, these two verses are described. To bring out the misery part, which a Jivatma is constantly facing, the misery of samsara, these two verses are described. Because later on, the technique for liberation is going to be described. So, liberation can be valued only by a person who has experienced bondage. A person who feels that I am already liberated, there is no point in telling techniques of liberation to him, isn't it? So what is the first one? Now see the beauty of this Jagat Guru, Bhagavan Sri Krishna. See how the topic is taken up. The first necessary condition for a person to value the technique of liberation is, what is the necessary condition? The necessary condition is, I must be aware of my bondage. 99% of the people in this world, they are not even aware that they are bound. And now you are giving big discourse on liberation. What is the use? You understand? So the first step in spirituality is to know what? That I am bound. To know that I am miserable in this bondage. Both are necessary. I am bound and I am miserable because of this bondage. When I am painfully aware of this fact that I am bound and I am miserable, then what is the natural tendency of any person who has this experience, who is painfully aware of this situation? The natural tendency will be, how am I to get liberated from this? Isn't it? So create hunger and then give food. Don't give food who has no hunger. So how to create this hunger for liberation? Hunger for liberation comes when one is aware of the pain of bondage. Very many times we are suffering, but we are not knowing why we are suffering. We think, oh, maybe this particular desire is not fulfilled, that's why I am suffering. Maybe if I get this, all my suffering gets over. This is how the mind is constantly hoping for something better in the future and trying to find out some solutions. A student, what is the desire? Oh, if I get good marks, I will be happy. I am miserable because I am not studying, so the fellow studies. Later on, studies also over. Oh, maybe I am not getting a good job, that's why I am miserable. Job also done. Maybe I don't have promotion, that's why I am miserable. Promotion also over, good salary is also there. Maybe I am not married, that's why I am miserable. Marriage is also over. Maybe I don't have kids. Kids are also gone. Oh, maybe I don't have my own home. Okay, your own home. And now the kids are going. Maybe the child is not studying well, that's why I am miserable. That is also done. Maybe my child is not married, that's why I am miserable. You go on and on and on and on. Have you observed? So constantly the mind is saying, now I am not happy, but this desires, if I fulfill, then I will be perfectly settled in life. Have you heard this term, settling? This is the term used. Permanent job. What is settling? You observe this term, settling. Settling means what? Everything permanent. Permanent house, permanent job, and nowadays permanent wife also. That is what is settling. Settling means what? Now there is nothing going to be changed. There is no change which is going to happen, and therefore I can relax. I can be careful. Now see, everybody is aiming at a changeless situation. Isn't it? Now I am settled in life, Swamiji. What are these two verses indicating? There is nothing called settling. You are a permanent traveler. Avyayam means what? You are traveling. In between a little rest in the night, 8 hours. Again travel. Travel in the body, mind, intellect, that's the vehicle given, you are traveling. Constant change, constant experience of change, constantly forced to respond to this change. How can you rest? You have to constantly respond to this change. No rest is possible. Temporary relief may be there, but rest is not there. So this is called as bondage. Are you able to understand what this bondage is? I am bound to respond to constant change. I can't relax. So what is spirituality? Technique of permanent relaxation. That is spirituality. As long as you are an embodied being, as long as we are in this body, forget about taking rest. That's what Bhagavad is telling. Constant worries, constant anxieties, constant fears, constant insecurity. It is a part and parcel of living in this world. So first try to understand where are we now. First try to understand that being born in this world is not a wonderful thing. It's a very, very miserable thing. Mokshatva will not come as long as the pain of bandhana is not understood. So the necessary condition for a deep desire for liberation is, what is the necessary condition? Painful awareness of the misery of this world. Misery of embodiment. Taking a body and coming to this world is nothing but misery alone. Concentrated misery. No, Swamiji. I am thoroughly enjoying this life, Swamiji. Then you are unqualified for spirituality. You can just get up and walk out. Entrance itself you have failed. There is a question of entering into, engineering college. Entrance itself you have failed. So therefore, if you are agreeing with this philosophy or with this, understanding about life, that this life is misery, if you agree with this philosophy, then you are qualified student for Vedanta. Parikshya lokan karmachitan brahmana nirvedam aya nasti akatakrade. Parikshya lokan. What is the proof that you have done proper pariksha of this world? Pariksha means examining the world, testing the world, experimenting with the world. We are all going through various experiences. What is the proof that you have analyzed these experiences perfectly well? What is the proof? The proof is your conclusion. What is your conclusion after going through all these experiences in life? What is your conclusion? If your conclusion is, Swamiji, the world is terrible. The world is nothing but pain. I don't think anyone can have peace of mind in this world. If this is your conclusion, congratulations. Your analysis is perfect. Congratulations. You are the person who has got sadhana chatushtaya sampatti. It's a wealth. Your analysis about life is perfect. Because you have the greatest wealth of this world. What is it? Vairagya is passion. A person who knows that this world is full of pain, he can never be attached to anything of this world. You can't get attached to objects which are painful, isn't it? You can get attached to objects only which are joyful. Now, what is the analysis of this person? There is nothing in this world which can give joy. Then what will happen? Easily he will be able to withdraw the mind from the world. He can't get attached to anything. And such a mind which can easily get detached from the world, that mind is available for getting attached to God. That mind is available. In the second chapter itself, Arjuna makes that statement. In this world, Bhagavan, even if everything wonderful happens, this sorrow which I am experiencing, I don't think this sorrow is going to go. At the most, what is the best thing that can happen? In the war I may win. I may kill all these fellows. I may get the kingdom. Bhagavan, yat shokam uchoshanam yat indriyanam. These are the words used to Arjuna. This sorrow which is burning me. Nahi prapashyami mama apanitya. I don't see any way in which this sorrow which is burning me, I don't see any way by which this sorrow may go. See the qualification of a perfect seeker of truth. At the most, what will happen in this war I may win. But I don't think that after this also my sorrow is going to go. I may get the kingdom, fine, but this sorrow is not going to go. So see, I may get the kingdom of heavens, forget about this. Even then, Bhagavan, this sorrow is not going to go. So therefore, please do something. Give me the right understanding. This is the only thing which can take my sorrow away. So when Bhagavan hears these statements coming from Arjuna, Bhagavan understands he is the most qualified person. Then starts Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna makes this statement and then he refuses to fight. Then Bhagavan smiles, seeing a perfect student of the Upanishads, a perfect student of Vedanta, a perfect student of spirituality. Right. So what is the qualification? The qualification is a conclusion. A firm conclusion of a choiceless situation. What is a choiceless situation? The awareness that there is no misery in this world. So now Bhagavan is saying, each one of us, we have created a tree for ourselves. What is this tree? the tree of samsara. So naturally a question will come, I did not create it. I found myself in this world. Bhagavan, how can you say that I have created this world? When my senses, when I came to my senses, I found myself in this world. I don't find any relationship between this world and myself. So I have to conclude that you have forcefully put me into this miserable world. So the blame is upon you. I did not ask for this world. You pushed me into this world through the womb of the mother. So therefore you alone are to be blamed. So the second word is a beautiful description saying that no, the world is our own creation. We asked for it, therefore we got it. We chose it, therefore we are in it. How is it possible? So yesterday we were discussing this. So how does it start? Vishaya Pravalaha. The first thing that happens in our life is we are exposed to sense objects. Vishaya, sense objects. They are pursued. That is where the starting point is. Pravala means what? Starting point. Finally it becomes a branch, but where does it start? It starts from the pravala. But you are exposed to a sense object. Vasanas are not yet created because interaction has not yet begun. And then what happens? Your sense organs interact with the sense objects. What is it called? Karma. Then what happens? Karma happens. So naturally, karma anubandhini also happens. So the moment I interact with the sense objects, the result can be either of these two. What are they? Sukha or dukkha, joy or sorrow. Some sense objects, they give me joy. Some sense objects, they give me sorrow. Sukha, dukkha. So what is my natural tendency towards sense objects? Now please understand, whenever I use sense objects, please understand it can be a thing, being or situation. When I say sense object, don't think that some inert object is there. No. It can be either of these three. Thing, being or situation. It can be a person, it can be a situation, it can be an object, whatever it is. So, in short, I will be using the term sense object, Vishaya in Sanskrit. So when I interact, the two possibilities are either I will get sukha from it or I will get dukkha from it. So what is my natural tendency towards objects which give me sukha? What's the natural tendency? I will have raga for it, attachment. I will get attached to anything or being who is giving me or which is giving me happiness. I will be attached. I will like it. Raga means what? Liking. This liking itself becomes later on intense attachment. So raga, dvesha. From sukha dukkha comes what? Raga, dvesha. I like some sense objects, I don't like some sense objects. So in this interaction, what has happened? This raga, this dvesha, they form an impression in the mind. This impression is what is called as vasanas. The impression, the latent tendencies. Increasing impression. Every moment when we are exposing our sense organs to sense objects, every moment impressions are being formed in the mind. Every moment. Some impressions are shallow, some impressions are deep. Depending upon how much you are affected by it. Impressions are constantly formed. So these impressions get stored, these are called as vasanas. So here what is the comparison as far as the tree is concerned? The secondary roots are the vasanas. So we had seen one relationship between the branch and the roots. What is the relationship? As the branch grows, the branch demands nourishment So when the branch demands nourishment, the roots also starts spreading. Anusantatani, spreading. As the branch grows bigger and bigger the branch, the greater the nourishment needed, and therefore the longer, the fatter, the thicker the roots also. Isn't it? Bigger trees with bigger branches will have bigger roots, yes or no? There is a relationship. For a small tree, you will always find the roots are also little. For huge trees, the roots are also huge. Why? There is a relationship. There is a proportional relationship. Bigger the branch, bigger the roots. In the same way, when I am exposed to these sense objects, greater my attachment towards the sense object, more badly I want that sense object to be a part of my life. Now see the difference. To the extent that sense object, to that extent there is attachment for that sense object, I will do everything to get that sense object as a part of my life. I am ready to spend time with that sense object. I will collect very many sense objects. I will spend most of my time interacting with that sense object, and in the process, what happens to my vasanas? That also starts intensifying. So as the branches grow, the roots also grow. Means what? As I interact with more and more sense objects which I like, as the vasanas in me increases, I will have very clear-cut set of sense objects surrounding my life. Things, beings, or situations. The person whom I love the most, I can't live even without that person. So what does it mean? The vasana is strong. What does it mean? I want to spend more and more time with that person. I can't stand being separate from that person. I want to occupy myself with that person. Think of being or situation. So, the world around me is nothing but so many sense objects. How did these sense objects enter into my life? I chose it. How did I choose it? I liked it, therefore I chose it. Why did I like it? I interacted with it. It gave me happiness, so therefore I made it a part of my life. Is this clear? It is clear. Now, what is Bhagavan saying here? These branches are adhascha urdhvam. What are these branches? These branches are spread in all directions. Below and above. Means what? In all directions. Now, what is this above and below? Now, here also there is an indication. What is it? The branches which are going up, they are talking of sattvic world. The branches which are going down, remember, branch means world. Okay, one word. The set of sense objects means what? World. So when I say branch, it is talking about the Jagat world. Remember, in the world, the body is also included. World doesn't mean only a outer world. Body is also a part of the world. So whenever this branch is said, understand it is Jagat, where body is also included. Mind is also included, intellect is also included. So, the branch which is going up means what? Sattvic world. How is it nourished? It is nourished by sattvic vasanas. Just like the roots are going up and down, branches are also going up and down. Now the unique feature about this tree is, the upper branches are nourished by the upper roots. This is not seen in the normal tree. Now there is a difference. The branches going up, they are nourished by The roots which are going up, let's say the term adhascha. So adhascha, both has to be adhascha mulani anusandadani. Adhascha mulani. So there are roots which are going down and up. So the roots which are going down, they are nourishing the branches which are going downwards. The upward roots are nourishing the upward branches. Means what? Now these are all symbolic. My tamasic vasanas are creating a tamasic world around me. My sattvic vasanas are creating a sattvic world around me. This is the point. What are the three types of words? Sattvic, rajasic, tamasic. Now the point is a very important point. The world is created by vasanas. So in short I can say, my thoughts create my world. In one line, if the entire verse can be described, it is this. My thoughts decide my world around me. If my thoughts are tamasic, you will helplessly attract a tamasic world around you. If your thoughts are sattvic, you will helplessly attract a sattvic world around you. Now what kind of world do you want? A tamasic world or a sattvic world? A good world or a bad world? We all want good world. Now the word says choice is yours. You can create it. With right effort, in the right direction, you can create a beautiful world around you. This is a practical tip. A beautiful world can be formed. What you have to do? You don't have to do anything in the outer world. What you have to do? But yes, you have to work in the inner world. And what is this inner world? The world of thoughts. Consciously choose beautiful thoughts and you will helplessly create a beautiful world. Ignore the thoughts. Thoughts will become negative. Then helplessly you will be pushed into a negative, painful world. All kinds of worlds are there in this world. Good world, bad world, happy world, sorrowful world. Choice is ours. What's the price we have to pay? Conscious entertainment of noble thoughts is the price. If you just observe yourself, if you entertain always thoughts of anger, what kind of expressions you will find in the faces of people around you? You will always find that they also will respond in the angry way, yes or no? You start shouting abuses at others, use bad words, what will come out of his mouth? You see, your bad thoughts created bad words. These bad words reciprocate back, come back as bad reaction. Actions and reactions are equal and opposite. When I have a negative world inside me, it will create a negative world outside me also. It's a very important something where we have to work upon. Because very many people are there in this world who say, somebody is responsible for my suffering. Very many people. I come to know because, people come and say, Swami, such a person did this to me, that to me, I am suffering all because of this. Amma, if you have problem, you are the problem. This is spirituality. That's it. It's a very, very, painful statement. A statement which is very difficult to digest and accept, but this is a fact. If you are suffering, you alone are responsible for it. Right? And we think I am not responsible, somebody is responsible in my life. That somebody may be husband or wife or children or neighbor or whatever, some name you will give. But spirituality is very clear. That person is there in your life because you deserve it. Good or bad. Let us analyze small, happenings in our life. As I told you, you shout abuse at someone. Will he respect you? No way. If this is true, if you love and respect somebody else, that person may be a rank criminal, but he has no choice but to reciprocate that love. Yes or no? Suppose you are using only good words, full of respect, full of love, full of acceptance. You are so good that the other person has no choice but to be good. You understood? Just imagine, you are so good, you are so loving, you are so compassionate, you are so selfless. Then what happens to the other person? That other person, even if he is an embodiment of all vices, he has no other way but to be good. If this is true, if this is a law, if you are bad, you see that expression in the world, a world which is becoming bad around you. If you are good, you can very clearly see the world around you becoming good. If this is the law, why can't we use this law properly to our advantage? This is more of spirituality. So now, where am I busy? I'm not busy in trying to change others. I'm busy in trying to reform myself. I must be so good, so aggressively good that I must extract only goodness from others. That is the proof how good you are. How good you are, what is the proof? The proof is even from a bad person, because everyone has got some or the other goodness. If you are able to, like a magnet, if you are able to attract the goodness, extract goodness from others, that is a proof of the intensity of your goodness. Goodness also has got so many intensities. Some are good if others are good. Some people are like, they are good if others are good. But if the others are bad, they are also good. That intensity is very mild. But these Mahatmas, when you see, they remain firm in goodness, even when they are exposed to the criminals and sinners. That is a real test of your goodness. So the point is this: the world around us, is formed by our own thoughts. So therefore, what we should do in life? Be good, be aggressively good. Then helplessly the world is designed that you will be exposed only to a wonderful world. This way. Devan bhavayadanena, devam bhavayantuvaha, parasparam bhavayantaha, shreyah param avapsyataha. This is the puja you have to do. This is the tapas you have to do. Keep on doing good to others. Keep on entertaining good thoughts, good actions, good words. This is the tapas. This is the austerity to be performed in this world. Then what will happen? This is called Devan Bhavyata. You worship the Devatas. You worship the cosmic forces with your goodness. Then what will happen? The cosmos has no other choice but to rebound back, reflect back your own goodness. So then what happens? You are good, the cosmos also is good. This way both are benefited. Parasparam bhavayanta. So the world is also benefited because of your goodness. And because of the good world, you are also affected. You are positively affected. So this way you attain the highest. This is what Bhagavad says. Now, a very common question which people ask is, Swamiji, if we become good in this world, others will exploit our goodness. This is a very common question which is asked. You want to do good, others will just exploit your trust, your faith, your goodness, and they will treat you as a doormat also. There is another term used, doormat. Yes or no? Now, these kind of questions come because we have not thought deeply enough. You see, there are so many psychological aspects to be discussed. When you are truly good, remember, not superficially good. Mind these words. What is superficial goodness? Just to show off. You have some hidden agenda, just like the businessman. To please the customers, they are good. Because the business is in mind in the background. He is not good because he is good. He wants to please the customer, he has to please the customer. Therefore, he is good. I am not talking about that goodness. Where business is involved. No. You are truly good because you are convinced about the benefits of being good. If I want to be happy in this world, there is no other way but to be good. If you are convinced from the depth of your heart, that kind of goodness I am talking about. Meaning, goodness which is unadulterated by selfishness. Truly good. Because you understand the law of karma. As you sow, so shall you reap. If you want only good things happen to you, you must always be good. That kind of goodness I am talking. So you are convinced and therefore you are living such a life. You know what happens? When you are extremely good, what are you doing to the other person? As I told you, you are forcing that person to be good. Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes. You are so good that other person has no other choice but to be good. Now, what happens when that other person becomes good? Will he be happy or will he be miserable? He has to be happy. Why? He is forcefully entertaining good thoughts. Good thoughts, what is the result? Peaceful mind. Because there is a law. Good thoughts gives you peaceful mind. Negative thoughts, positive thoughts make your mind peaceful. Negative thoughts make your mind disturbed. This is a law. Now, what are you doing with your goodness? Your goodness, you are forcing the other person to be good. So naturally, his thoughts, words and action have to be good. Yes or no? So now, will he be happy or will he be miserable? He will be choicelessly happy. This is a great psychology. So when you are exposed to a good person, when you are interacting with a virtuous person, a noble person, you will find that within few minutes your mind becomes peaceful. You start entertaining, you become very happy. Yes or no? You will always find this. When you are in the company of great saints, great masters, whom you have a lot of respect and regard and reverence, you remain in that company of that person for some time, your mind becomes peaceful. Yes or no? Generally people say it is because of the vibration of the place. But what is the truth? The truth is that place has forced you to entertain good thoughts. Because of your own good thoughts, you are now peaceful and happy. The greatness of that place is it forced you to entertain noble divine thoughts. Generally people say, Swamiji, that Samadhi place, that Mahatma Samadhi event, I just sat 5-10 minutes, Swamiji, how my mind became this, I don't know. That place is a very powerful place, Swamiji. Samadhi of a saint. People go to Ramanashram also, they sit in silence, and they say this. But actually what is happening? You have a lot of Shraddha Bhakti for that saint. And therefore when you sit there, naturally because of your own noble thoughts about that saint, about that place, etc., your noble thoughts are giving that positive vibration, that peace, that happiness. You are able to connect it. Suppose a person comes who has absolutely no faith in Ramana Maharaj. Rather, he only scolds in left and right. Such a person sits there 5 minutes, 10 minutes, even in hours together, he sits there, nothing will happen. Why? Because he has noble thoughts are not coming. So the point is this. The point is, the more and more we become good, genuinely good, what happens is the person who comes in contact with us, that person starts feeling an unearthly divine bliss and happiness. Because the sign of goodness is you are able to love everyone. You are able to respect everyone. Why? Because you are seeing the divine in that other person. You are not judging that person because of some superficial negativity, weaknesses, etc. No. You know that every person is divine. They deserve love. They deserve respect. With this attitude, when you interact with people, what happens? That person is able to receive that love. Now remember, everybody in this world is a beggar of love. Yes or no? We crave for love. What kind of love? Unconditional love. When a person is loving me, irrespective of, that person is not paying any attention to my negativities, my weaknesses, my faults, in spite of knowing all that, still when a person loves me, when I receive unconditional love from the person, when I am in the presence of that person, my mind becomes absolutely free from all negativities. As I told you, I don't have to wear any mask in front of him. So there is no struggle, there is no strain. In fact, in front of such a person, I am ready to discuss all my weaknesses. I am ready to admit all my faults. Why? Here is a person I know, he will love me in spite of my defects, in spite of my negativities. So then what happens? In that presence of that person, I become fulfilled. I become happy. I become cheerful. Now, will I want to break this relationship? No. I will want to protect this relationship. Yes or no? So when you come in your life, when you come in contact with some really great person, you will never try to cheat that person. Because in the company of that person, you are getting everything what you want. Peace, joy, happiness, clarity. So what I am trying to say is, as we become good, better and better, through our own sadhana, unknowingly we are giving happiness and peace to others. You are not aware. That person who is coming is aware. Just like that, flower which is giving fragrance. The flower is not aware where the fragrance is going and all that. But the bees are aware. So as you unfold, as you spiritually unfold, as you evolve, the fragrance of spirituality comes. What is the fragrance? It expresses as giving love to others, giving unconditional love to others. This is the way it expresses. It expresses as absence of fault finding. It expresses as absence of judgmental way of thinking. The readiness to serve. The readiness to become selfless. These are the expressions of spiritual unfoldment. So then what happens? As you are truly good, you will find that others also then strive to become good. Why? In order to win your love. In order to win your appreciation. Are you able to understand? So will that person try to exploit your goodness? No! He will treasure this relationship. He will not want to spoil this relationship. So therefore that person will never try to exploit your goodness. Are you able to follow what I am saying? You will find that all relationship becomes beautiful when you are really good. You are being good means what? You truly keeping in mind the welfare of the other person you are working. You have no selfish motives. Whoever is coming to my life, may they be blessed. I will do everything to make them happy. With this motive you are working. So naturally everybody starts loving you. They are ready to do everything for you. Because they are receiving a very rare kind of love which they are not receiving from anywhere else. They will treasure that relationship. They will want to strengthen that relationship. You will find that such people, whenever they find such Mahatmas, they will go again and again and spend time with that person. Why? This is the only source where I am really getting peace. And all those secrets in their life which they don't even discuss with their wife or husband, they will discuss with this particular person. Why? Here is a person with whom I can share everything. Whatever is there in the personal life. And when you share, there is what you call unburdening that happens, Tremendous relief is there, tremendous peace is there. You find a lot of clarity in your thinking, how to go about in life. So therefore to say that our goodness will be exploited by others, it is a wrong statement. No. At all levels it happens. I will give a very simple example. Swami Shivanji Maharaj, earlier he was a famous doctor in Malaysia. His name was Swami. Now, Swamiji said there in his biography, when he goes to vegetable vendor, very simple example which I am giving. Generally people bargain for prices. So this vegetable vendor also knows, whoever comes he will bargain. So what will he do? So when it is 100 rupees stuff, he will say 150 rupees. Then he will say, no, 50 rupees. Okay, 100. Actually, it is 100 rupees only. What Swami Shivaji Maharaj used to do, if the vendor says 150, you just take what you give him. No bargain. This vegetable only was done. Second time also same thing. Without doubting that person, with full trust, you just give him all. But the third time, this vegetable vendor did not ask for 150 or he asked the exact rate. Why? He knows this person, he will not, so I should not cheat him. I should not, because I need such a wonderful customer. So to make, I am just giving a simple, very simple example. Even at the vegetable vendor level, this you can find. Forget about spiritual or higher thing and all that. I am getting a regular customer, a wonderful customer who never bargains, who trusts me totally. So therefore, I don't want to miss such a wonderful customer. So therefore, that person also. This is what I am saying. You are so good that you bring out the goodness from others. This is a test of goodness. In fact, I will tell you, the greatness of this country is we won the freedom struggle through this goodness. Very many people are not aware of it. Gandhiji fought this freedom struggle with truth and non-violence. There are very many people who are not able to understand what this is. What does it mean? Winning freedom struggle with truth and non-violence. They are not able to understand. And they criticize Gandhiji. It doesn't work. The revolution is the one. Fighting is the one, etc. These things are very, very subtle things. Even to appreciate it, forget about living it. Even to appreciate, you have to be really, really an advanced one. You know what Gandhiji did? Truth and non-violence. What did he do? He created a band of people, good ones, noble ones, evolved ones, spiritual ones. What did they do? They protested silently. They protested non-violently. They protested selflessly. They protested peacefully. With virtues, full of virtues they protested. And then what did happen? These protesters were coming and these British forces, they would do lathi charge, and the instruction given was, when the lathi lands on your head or leg, you will not object. It needs tremendous courage. Somebody is beating you and you are receiving it. And you very clearly know that what you are doing is right. I am struggling for my independence of my country. I am not doing it for my wife and children. I am doing it for my nation. And this protest I will do truthfully, non-violently, selflessly. So these people came and the British also, they started lathi charge. These set of people, they received these blows. In the process, very many got injured. Now just imagine what is happening in the minds of the people who are seeing this. Now this is what I call extracting goodness from others. Just imagine in front of your eyes, there is a person who is an embodiment of goodness and he is getting beaten and he is just receiving. What will happen to you? Tell me. Will you not interfere? Can you just look at it and let it happen? Will you say that? Never. Helplessly you will interfere, isn't it? Such a nice person, he is so good. You will interfere, isn't it? What forces you? What stirs your conscience? It is this, a violent person on one side, a noble, great, divine person on the other side, and a violent person, giving pain to a noble person. At that time, your conscience is stirred and you start getting involved in the state. This is exactly what Gandhi did. When this movement started, maybe few people only were there. For freedom struggle, they came, they did this. People who are watching, they could not stop. For our country, here is a noble man who is living his life. Immediately, it became a national movement. Are you able to understand this? It became a national movement. And Gandhiji became not Rashtrapati, but Rashtrapita. What do you call that? His status is nobody. As long as the earth is there, the Rashtrapita state will be only for one person. And Gandhiji truly deserved it. Because he fought this independence war not with violence, but with truth, with God. For Gandhiji it was very clear, this is not for me an independent struggle. It is for me, as far as I am concerned, it is a spiritual sadhana. You see. For us, Gandhiji was struggling for independence. You ask Gandhiji, what did you say? No, I don't care whether independence comes or not, it is in the hands of the Lord. As far as I am concerned, this is a sadhana, spiritual sadhana which I am doing. I am here to reform myself, to beautify myself. You see. Why did I discuss all this? So the statement to say that, if you are good, you will be exploited by others. No, it will not happen. Maybe once or twice it will happen, but suddenly you will find the transformation happening in the other person. Forget about human beings. Even in animals you can see that change. There are very many people who have lions and tigers as pets. Nowadays, because we have YouTube, etc., I don't know whether you are aware of a lion called Christian, the lion. Have you seen that video? It's a beautiful video. So here was this person who was, like a pet animal, he was rearing up this lion. I don't know where this happened, etc. Long back I have seen this video. Then finally it was decided that this lion should be left in the forest. It should not be, it should not be there in the human locality. So he had showered so much of love to that lion that he leaves him in the forest, and after a few years he goes back to the forest just to see that lion. So the lion was named as Christian. So if you type in Christian the lion, you will find this video. After a few years, he just wanted to keep that lion. By then this lion was the forest and so many, the female lion and the cubs and so many other lions. He had become a family man. But the moment he comes there, this lion comes running, bounces off him, licks him. What a scene it is. What I am trying to say is this: when you shower love, you can conquer even animals. Then what to talk of human beings? So what I am trying to say is how we create our world. So with our goodness, if we can just focus on, you don't have to focus on the people in your life. You don't have to. You don't have to try to change others. This is a mistake you do. We try to change others. No. your job here is not to change others and you can't do it also. Your job is only one, try to change yourself. Every time when somebody is creating anger in you, don't blame that person. He has only created a situation to bring out the negativity from you. It is already there, it has just come out. You press an orange, what comes out? Orange juice. You press a pineapple, what comes out? Pineapple juice. Why does it come out? Because that is what is there inside. The press is only a situation and what is there comes out. So in the same way, a person is creating anger in you. Who has to be blamed then? What is there inside only comes out, isn't it? So he is only a nimitta, he is only an instrument in bringing out the imperfection. So as a spiritual seeker, what you should think? This person was capable of bringing out this imperfection. It is not his mistake. It is only an instrument. He is only an instrument in the hands of the Lord to make me aware of this negativity which is already there. So then what should I do? Mentally prostrate to that person. Because he has given me an opportunity to reform myself. He has, like a mirror, he has shown an imperfection which is there in me which I was not aware. Very many times what happens is these deep vasanas are there, but I am not aware of it. But then that person brings it out. So what should I do? Instead of scolding that person, mentally prostrate to that person. If this you can do throughout your life, you will be amazed how you will change yourself. You are not here to blame anyone. You are not finding fault with anyone. If there is one person whom you are finding fault with, who is he? I myself. I am here to improve myself. I am here to reform myself. I am an embodiment of imperfection. My job in my life is only one, to correct myself. If this way you proceed, you will be amazed how all relationships starts improving. This is a way to improve our relationships. So many divorce cases are happening now. Why is it happening? Everyone is pointing fingers at us. I am perfect, this fellow. Divorce have to happen. But suppose each other says, no. If I am disturbed, I am wrong. See, this is a Maha Mantra. If I am disturbed, I am wrong. You will be amazed how, the so-called sinners and criminals, but they are transformed. So through our goodness, we should try to transform others. In fact, you need not transform others. You keep on becoming rich in goodness. Others' transformation will automatically happen in your presence through your goodness. Because goodness is such an attractive force, nobody can, ignore it. An iron piece cannot ignore the presence of a magnet. This is what a spiritual sadhana. So what happens then? It's something like, you keep a mirror. There is some imperfection on the face. Where will you make correction? There or here? The moment I see something on the face, where am I seeing it? I am seeing it there. But where will I make correction? Here. In the same way, when you are interacting with people, somebody comes and disturbs you. Where should you make correction? Not there, but here. And then you will find that there also the correction has happened. The moment you make correction here, what happens there? Correction happens. So that's why we say a person with a beautiful mind sees everything beautiful. A person with a beautiful mind sees everything beautiful. And therefore, when we beautify the mind, we are in fact beautifying the world. What is the way to beautify the world? Not by beautifying the world, but by beautifying the mind. Improving the world is not by finding fault with the world. Improving the world is by finding fault with ourselves. The world is perfect. There is a Lord who is taking care of everything. We need not worry anything about the world. The world is in safe hands, in the hands of omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent God. We need not worry about the world. If at all we have to do something, we have to work upon ourselves. So this is the first step. The first step is not transcending the world, the first step is beautifying the world. The first step is not transcending the mind, the first step is beautifying the mind. Very many times people sit in meditation, they want direct samadhi. Nothing will happen. First step is learn to live. The world is there, the world is for a purpose, and what is the purpose? We must learn to live intelligently. And what is intelligent living? When we live our life in such a way that we are growing in noble virtues, then that is called as intelligent living. And such a virtuous mind, a pure mind, for such a person, everything, this spirituality is just a cakewalk. It is nothing. It is effortless. Tasmat sarvagatam brahma nityam yajna pratishthitham is the word used by Bhagavad. That infinite Brahman is established in yajna. A person who is, lives in yajna bhava, thinking about the welfare of the world, doing only good things, that is called as yajna. Self-effacement, self-sacrifice, living a virtuous life. For him, that infinite Bhagavan is easily attainable. Anyway, this is not the topic of this verse. But what I am trying to say is, there is a deep connection between the inner thoughts and the outer world. A tamasic person creates a tamasic world. A criminal person creates a criminal world around him. A sattvic person, a divine person, a noble person creates a noble world around him. This law we have to master. And for that, we will have to take care of our thoughts. So all these points are stuffed in this verse. More are there to be discussed, that we will see tomorrow. Guru Brahma Rupa Jano Shiva Ka Swarupa Mano. Guru ke saman nahi dusra jahan mein. Guru Brahma Rupa Jano Shiva Ka Swarupa Mano. पाप से बचावे गुरु, ज्ञान को सिखावे गुरु। पाप से बचावे गुरु, ज्ञान को सिखावे गुरु। ब्रह्म से मिलावे गुरु, तुरीय पद ध्यान में। गुरु ब्रह्म रूप जानो शिव का स्वरूप मानो। गुरु ब्रह्म रूप जानो शिव का स्वरूप मानो। यह श्रुति वेद कहता, गुरु बिना ज्ञान कैसा। ज्ञान बिना मुक्ति कैसे आवे तेरे ध्यान में।
ज्ञान बिना मुक्ति कैसे आवे तेरे ध्यान में।
गुरु ब्रह्म रूप जानो, शिव का स्वरूप मानो।
गुरु ब्रह्म रूप जानो, शिव का स्वरूप मानो।
छल कपट त्याग दीजिए, गुरु जी की सेवा कीजिए।
छल कपट त्याग दीजिए, गुरु जी की सेवा कीजिए।
सद्गुरु के शरण लीजिए, खेलिए मैदान में।
सद्गुरु की शरण लीजिए, खेलिए मैदान में।
गुरु ब्रह्म रूप जानो, शिव का स्वरूप मानो।
गुरु ब्रह्म रूप जानो, शिव का स्वरूप मानो।
शिव का स्वरूप मानो।
शिव का स्वरूप मानो।
ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः,
सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। असतो मा सद्गमय, तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय, मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम।
Hello. Tomorrow is a very, very auspicious day in the Hindu calendar. I am sure all of you know it is Guru Purnima Day, where all over the world we offer our humble pranams and homage to a galaxy of saints and sages, to the entire Guru Parampara. We are celebrating that here, and we are very lucky that we are all coming together in this charged spiritual atmosphere to celebrate Guru Purnima. From 6 to 6:30 there will be bhajans and stotras, and we celebrate Guru Purnima together tomorrow. I wish that all of you are here by 6 o'clock, and then we experience that satsang together.